All right, we're ready to begin our bird and cherry blossoms. This is my bluebird. Okay, this is just the palette we're going to be using. Let's pull that up close. We have Naphthol Red Light, Yellow Oxide, Hansa Yellow, Phthalo Blue. This is Phthalo Blue this time. I'm going to put a little bit more paint on that one because I want you to see it's really good and dark. Phthalo Blue, Raw Umber, Medium White. This is one that we don't use all the time. That's not in the 12-piece starter set. Black and White. So those are our colors for today. And there we go. All right, so we're going to begin our background. We have a nice soft muted green background that sets the bird in nicely because you can see the bird really close when you have a nice muted background. You don't want bright colors. That's reserved for the leaves and the bird and the flowers. Okay, I'm going to be using maybe a number 3/4 inch flat, and I've mixed up my paint colors ahead just to speed us up a little bit. I mixed my Phthalo Blue and Yellow Oxide and got a green, and then I added a little bit of white to it and a touch of Raw Umber, and I got this real soft green here, and that's what we're going to begin with. So you can mix that up ahead of time so you're ready to go. And these are globals, and we're going to begin putting this color down in a slip-slapping motion. Now when it goes on the canvas, it's going to go on real nice and smooth. And what I like to do as I'm working is pick up little touches of lights. That's a little white. A little extra yellow oxide to warm it. But we'll get a little bit more paint on the actual piece, and then I'll show you all my tints and accents. Okay, I'm probably going to go over these flowers, and I'm going to have to sketch them in later. And if you let it dry, you can put your pattern back on, but I'm going to probably just brush sketch them in because these are very free-form flowers. They don't have a lot of definition. They're kind of fluffed in there, but you know they're flowers because of the colors. So I'll leave a little bit of the cluster, and you can, when you're putting this on, you can also rub your finger over it and you can still see your pattern. So that would be a good way to save your pattern if you didn't want to trace it. And I know my bird's right there, so I'll save a little bit of him. And my light area is going to be right above the bird's head, so I'll throw in a little more light right now. Just a slip-slappy. Soften it out. You can keep pinch wiping your brush when you add other colors. That will help you stay nice and clean with your brushes. You don't have to be washing them. And I'm going to throw a little bit more color in here. I know there's flowers in there. I know there's a branch. So I'll save the bird's tail. I know that's there. Get up close to the pattern or go over your lines a little bit. You don't want a white halo around everything. And I'll just move that off a little so I can remember what was there. And just picking up a little bit of my medium white, a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow oxide. It kind of gives you a nice modeling of colors. Everything isn't going to look the same. And if you stroke it a lot of times, you'll lose the color. So, and even picking up just a little more of the blue into the blue-green, I'll put a little more blue at the bottom. It's a little more shadowy area as it's going out of the painting. Okay, so we'll go around our bird, cut in a little bit. Can always touch up later if I don't have it exactly right. Oh, without fail, every time I turn the camera on, the phone starts to ring. But my husband's up there, so hopefully he'll pick it up. He doesn't like to pick up the phone because it's never for him. But he might pick, no, he's not going to pick it up. He's refusing. Okay, so that's the background. Not difficult, using 3 main colors, the phthalo blue, a little bit of yellow oxide, and a little bit of white. Phthalo blue, yellow oxide, a little bit of white. And if it's too bright, that's what the raw umber is for. You can put just a touch of that in there and it will tone it. All right, I'm going to put that brush aside. And we're going to go into our leaves. Now the leaves are kind of haphazardly put in. I don't put in exact shapes. I am going to pull this camera up a little closer so we can get a little bit closer. Whoops, wrong way, sorry. Bring this up a little closer because I want you to see the leaf area. We're going to start over here. And the leaves are a mixture again. I wanted a light, medium, and dark. Okay, so my medium green is phthalo blue. So let's take a little phthalo blue. Yellow oxide again. And I'll do that over here so you can see it. Phthalo blue and a little bit of yellow oxide. We're going to get a green. Okay, now this is your dark green. It's pretty dark. If it isn't dark enough, you can add just a touch more of the blue. But that makes a pretty good dark green. And now we're going to, that's your dark, sorry about that. Now for the medium, we're going to keep our eye on that one, but we'll take a little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow oxide. Not as much blue this time. Not as much blue. So go slowly, add little touches. You have to look at your colors while you're mixing them. Okay, all right, so that's a little bit lighter than this one, so that I'll say that's a good one. And that was a little more yellow than blue. And let's see, do we have a highlight color in here? I haven't painted this one in a while. Okay, we'll highlight with our Hansa yellow and a little bit of our white. And that's going to be a real bright light. Okay. And I'm going to add just a tiny, tiny prick of the blue into that. Just a little bit. So it's bright yellow, a little bit of blue, and white. So it's pretty pale. So that's going to be my highlight color. All right, now clean my palette knife off a little bit. And we're going to take out our number 6 filbert. Actually, maybe I'll have you use a little bit larger brush. A little bit larger brush, the number 8 filbert, enables you to put the color on and not meticulous, not sit there. If you take a tiny brush, you want to paint every single leaf. And we don't want to do that. This is a very loose technique. So we're going to start out with our dark tones. So I'm picking up a little bit of my dark leaves, and I'm just looking at this. Okay. Now you're going to add leaves. Now remember, we are going to put flowers by just dabbing in some color. You can soften with your hand, you can soften with a brush, but we are going to look for areas where we can tuck some green in. We're not shaping these leaves, we're just tucking in our darks. Darks in the core, it's darkest. We can put a little bit next to the bird, and I'll leave some areas where I'll see that I'm going to put flowers. Now, I've got a few of these leaves kind of flyaways going up this way out of the painting. Now I'm going to pinch wipe my brush, and I can soften. If I got some hard edges, I'm just going to soften them a little bit. If I got too much, say I don't want that there, I can lift it off with a water brush. Leaves are fun to do because they're, if you don't get it right the first time, you just take it off and try it again. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to pick up, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of Hansa yellow on my dirty brush, and that's going to give me a little bit of really yellow tone. I think they could use a little perk. A little bit of yellow tone in there. That's nice. Up near the top where the sun would be shining. Okay, and now I'm going to take my dark green and I'll strengthen those darks with a few little leaf shapes. Just a touch here and there, not doing a lot. Okay, that's that little cluster there. And if I got too many and I want to lift, remember you can take a little water and you can lighten it. See, here I'll take a little bit off right here where I'll put a flower. There. Little airspace coming through. There's a small cluster up above. And that's up in here. It's going to have a little branch coming down this way. So I'll just give myself a little sketch. I know that's going to be a branch. Now I'll put in a few leaves. You can also pick up, just for some tints and accents, you can pick up a little phthalo blue and touch in with some blues. That looks pretty too. We're using all our colors here, just a few accents of blue. Alright, now we're going to go up here and I'll put in just a little bit of dark green. Not as much up here. This is a little more sparse, just a little twig hanging down. Put in some of my light green mix. And I'm even lightening that green mix up. I would like a little more of the Hansa yellow in it, and I didn't get it quite as light as I like it, so a little more Hansa yellow. There we go. Some little tints. Hansa yellow. We're not doing a lot up there, just a little bit. Okay. And we'll put some flowers up there, and then we're going to go down to the under part of the bird, the lower section, and we'll put in our dark leaves, put a few in under the bird. We know there's going to be shadow under there, so I'm just fluffing in some darks. Maybe over here will be a little bit, little branch coming out. I'm just, my pattern got lost, so I'm just kind of fluffing in colors. If you would like, You can always put your pattern or a little indication of where things are going to be positioned to help you. But I'm just fluffing in as I see an area where it could have some leaves. I think I'd like a little bit more up by the bird. Okay, now I've dabbed in color. Now I'm going to pinch wipe my brush. Okay, little extender on the brush makes it blend nicely. And we'll soften these. We don't need every shape to be perfect. We'd like color. Color changes are good, but we don't necessarily need perfect leaf shapes. It's just very suggestive. Helps you relax so you don't have to do quite so much agonizing over every single little shape. Alright, I'm going to take a little bit of Hansa yellow and I'm going to highlight around the bird. I would like him a little bit nice and light near the bird. As it fades away, it'll have a little bit also. And I'm going to take a little bit of that medium color. Up underneath. Even some actual phthalo blue for that real dramatic look. That dark blue in there is pretty. Okay, now you can see that's not real defined. But that's nice. Now you can take your finger and say, well, this should be softened. Or you can take a extender brush. I clean my brush, pinch wipe, pick up a little bit of extender, blot it on the paper towel, and then I can kind of dance these edges a little bit softer. I don't want to blend it. I want to see my colors. So I'm not going to blend it. Okay, I just soften. I'm going to go up to the top, soften these a little bit. I'm going to put just a dab of blue up here. I love that little dab of blue. It really does a lot for the painting because the background has that blue in it. So we don't have to be afraid of that blue. Okay, all right. I am going to set up my next set of colors and I'll be right back. Let me pull this back so you can see it. Nope, the wrong way again. Okay, so you can see pretty much what we've gotten so far. Okay, be right back.